When I was a wee little lad, just a little goober in my dad's balls, I played a shit ton of Flash games. It was mostly on sites like StickPage, Addictive Games, Congregate, Miniclip, bit of Newgrounds, etc. I played mostly a lot of shit games. Like there was this one game where it was like a shootout with like George Bush or something. I have no idea why I played this. I didn't even know what a president was, but I didn't care. This ain't your grandpa's big shot shooter. This is a war crime, baby. But out of the landfill of garbage, there were actually a few gems, and one of them was the Fancy Pants series. First, it started off as a game that a guy made in 2006, and then he would develop them throughout the years. The ones that I grew up with was the ones until the Fancy Pants Adventures in 2012, where I spent $150 on cosmetics for the game because I thought that they were free.
It's free real estate.
Let me just say in the kindest way possible that my uncle wasn't happy. I was around 8 or 9 around the time. Give me some fucking slack. We were all underdeveloped ones. Anyways, thank you Fancy Pants. It introduced me to a gambling addiction. The Fancy Pants games at the time were kind of at a stalemate. And it was kind of nice reliving the series through its most recent entry, which is the Super Fancy Pants Adventure. This has to be one of the best 2D platformers that I have ever played. Where do I begin? The art style, even though crude, feels like a celebration of the early internet days. DeviantArt levels of what characters look like, check. Stick figure fights, check. Having a boss that takes place in the creator's house, because that is what every fucking creator who did stick figure animations try to do back then. Like Pencilmation and animator versus creator, check. Ugly ass gradient colors, check. It just feels like this game is a celebration of all the games that preceded it and a celebration of Flash content in general. RIP Flash, by the way. The amount of unique animations in this game are insane, and it gives the Fancy Pants character so much personality. Through the way that he rolls, through the way that he jumps around, it just embodies this vibe of excitement that I cannot help but adore. When it comes to platforming, it has a sense of speed that is so buttery smooth to control, and it feels like a Sonic game if it was consistently good instead of just having one level being the only thing good about the game. Aw, did I say that? Let me apologize. The absolute mobility of this game is consistently good, with you having to roll down to gain momentum, sliding down to make the little spider blobs off balance. The whole entire mechanics for the pin, which is so satisfying to use. There are segments where you have to surf a page of paper using the edge of the pin, and it is the most creative use of parkour that I've ever seen in a while for a game. The straight line attack with the pin also has a lot of moments where it just makes the platforming that much more intense, and I love its inclusion. You can also use it as a machine gun, which has saved my ass a few times while playing. The pin weapon just makes the pencil in comparison obsolete, which isn't a bad thing. It brings so much more creativity with its mechanics. The boss fights, even though they're nothing to write home about, they're still pretty good in their own right. It requires a little bit more brain power than your typical Nintendo 3-hit boss, and at least they're more memorable than a villain like Wart. Who the fuck is that? The level design is top notch, where I didn't feel like there was an area that sucked or an area that needed improving. It has this sense of flow that makes all the maps feel purposeful. I love this gimmick with the game where you can switch from the foreground to the background and vice versa. It sort of pays tribute to Wario Land on the Virtual Boy, a game so good that nobody bought the headset for it. I'm sorry nearsighted people, but you're just fucked. The plot is nothing to write home about. I mean, it's Fancy fucking Pants, so don't expect The Last of Us, but there are moments where it does get a few exhales or a smirk out of me. Now to the negatives, which I have very little complaints to bring up. I wanted to see more ideas of what this game wanted to throw at me. I feel like the person who made this wanted to introduce so many ideas, but just stuck to one that nailed its landing. I wish that this game would last a little bit longer because it is short. It took me around 4.5 hours to complete, but I do think that there is a good amount of replayability with the pin abilities and discovering hidden areas that I think are more challenging than the actual main story content, but hey, that's just me. But at least it has replayability when it comes to that. It did crash a few times, but maybe that's expected with a game that was made with Flash in mind, and since it's dead, so they can't really update it. I think when you're replaying the game, going back and forth from the ice cream man to the receptionist is just kind of annoying. I just wish that there was an option to skip it because it is required. It's kind of charming the first time, but once you just keep on replaying the game, it gets annoying. And that was all my complaints. I wasn't kidding when I said that I had very little to criticize about this game. This game as a package is just spewing great amounts of creativity, charm, and all around all the best aspects of what made Flash games as special as they were. They weren't big budgeted releases, they just wanted to present an idea and run with it. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and that's a good thing. Fancy Pants still holds up extremely well to this day, and I think $10 is a good price to pick this game up. Despite a few crashes and it being short, I'll give this game a 8.5 out of 10. Subscribe if you want to, like if you want to, even comment if you want to. I don't care, you do you, and have a good day.